What's up, everybody? It's your boy Xavier here, and welcome back to another episode of Wiggle Weekly. Today's going to be, I guess, a special edition. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I figured it would be cool, since it's the end of the year, to rank my favorite projects from 2020. Throughout the month, I'm going to be dropping videos pertaining to 4 different categories, which is my favorite songs, my favorite albums, my favorite instrumentals, and my favorite music videos of 2020. Just basically this week. So take it or leave it. Without further ado, we're just going to get started with today's video, which is going to be my favorite instrumentals, produced songs of 2020. I don't know how to word it, but we'll figure it out when we get there. So let's get it. 10 on my list is Friends and Family by NAV. Now, before you riot, I will actually double down and say that this is a good NAV song. Now, did Weezy's production carry NAV on this song? Yes. Did Weezy's production carry NAV on this project? Yes. Of course. Obviously. But all things considered, I didn't mind NAV's contribution to the track. I think he played it very safe with his delivery. His flow was doing just enough to match the energy of the beat. And speaking of the beat, oh my goodness, this instrumental is hype. Probably my favorite trap beat from this year. There's this immediate sense of urgency with the flute, the recurring flute. I think it goes something like It kind of reminds me of a beefed up version of Hot from Young Thug's last project. I just really love how epic it is, honestly. I could easily see this being utilized in a trailer for Fast and the Furious 30, so shouts out to you, Weezy, you killed it. 9 on the list is Hard Target by Action Bronson, produced by Young Mexico and Harry Fraud. Now, this piano loop serves as a very beautiful outro to Bronson's latest project. It kind of reminds me of Westside Gunn's discography in terms of this very elegant production being used, in contrast to this very raw artist on-set production. It's just a very cool meshing of 2 worlds here. But that's what makes artists like Bronson and West so interesting, is that they're willing to mix their brands, or I guess build their brands, with instrumentals such as this. And you know, if you heard the instrumental by itself, you probably think it's played in an art museum or some kind of diner in France, which I'm pretty sure is Bronson's intention anyway, to have this kind of sound created for this project in particular. So shouts out to Mexico. Shouts out to Mexico, and shouts out to Harry Fraud. 8 on the list is Ezekiels Will by Jay Electronica, produced by Jay Electronica. Now, I thought this was an Alchemist beat. Up to this point of writing the script, I thought this was an Alchemist beat, but he does have production credits on another song on this project, but that's besides the point. I guess I just want to emphasize that Jay Electronica has the lyrical ability to create songs such as Exhibit C, but he is also capable of producing songs with the same likeness as Alchemist. So I just want that to sink in. Just let it soak for a minute. This beat feels like a dream, no pun intended. This beat feels like I died, and this is what you're going to be listening to when transcending into the afterlife. Now, with how soothing and calming that this production style is, I think it not only appeals to the more older hip-hop heads with a more mature palette, but it can also suffice for the younger audience who listen to those chilled cow playlists for 8 hours straight. It's just one of those things where even if you're not a rap fan, it's just a very pleasant sound to listen to, if that makes sense. So shouts out to Jay. 7 on the list is Gangsta All the Time by Knowledge. Now, I don't know if this is cheating, since Knowledge is kind of an instrumental artist anyway, but hey, my list, my rules. 1988 has a lot of fantastic songs, and Gangsta All the Time isn't even my favorite. I actually really like It Can Be So Nice with Anderson .Paak a lot more, but if I had to judge based off production alone, I would say Gangsta All the Time is the best in that regard. Knowledge does this thing where it sounds like he's either stretching or slowing down the tempo of the beat, and it creates this very whiny, high-pitched sounding effect. It's almost like it's nails on a chalkboard in a way. And that's honestly my favorite aspect of the song. I know it's weird, but it just sounds very sad and unpleasant. Even the vocal sample from Niggas Nature is originally very upbeat and happy, but in this context, it just sounds hopeless in a way. And I know my description is very morbid, but I feel like the best songs invoke a strong emotion out the listener, whether it's happy or sad. So shouts out to Knowledge for that. 6 on the list is Fetus by Amine, produced by Parker Corey of Injury Reserve. Now I can only assume these guys are pretty close considering they have 2 other songs with each other, so it was very refreshing when the track list for this came out and Corey was listed in the production credits. Fetus has this weird trade-off where it's this very welcoming guitar-like melody playing throughout, but it's also battling this abrupt siren kind of sound that's also recurring throughout the song. And in my album review of John, I described how this instrumental represents the beauty of childbirth while simultaneously warning you of the world you're putting this child in. Of course, this is what Amine and Injury Reserve are discussing on Fetus, but I would like to think that Corey constructed this beat to encapsulate both feelings by using these 2 sounds that contrasted each other in a way. So regardless, shouts out to Corey and rest in peace, Grogs. 5 on the list is Ghost by Earl Sweatshirt and Navy Blue, produced by Black Noise. Now, I know this was technically released in 2019, but it hit streaming in 2020, so here we are. This sample is infectious, triumphant, inspiring. I legit could not stop listening to this song when it came out because it has such an invigorating sample. And when I think about it, this might be the most hype Earl song to date. And it's so refreshing hearing him approach beats like this, especially coming from such a low point in his life from his father's passing. With all that being said, shouts out to Black Noise. This shit is a banger. It makes me want to rip my eyeballs out, achieve all my goals in the day, and just scream to the heavens. 4 on the list is One More Hit by Westside Gunn, produced by Denny LaFleur. Now, I wasn't too hype about Fly God is an Awesome God too. It was a kind of forgettable project in my opinion, but this song was a very clear outlier to me. Same thing with Ghost. The sample is just chopped up so well. You have this very simple drum loop backed up by Tim Mayes. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Correct me in the comments. Baritone of a voice just singing in the background. His presence is so overwhelming in the song, but not to a point where it's a hindrance. And you can tell because Westside and Stove God Cooks are just flowing effortlessly over this track. And you almost forget that they're basically rapping over the sample. But it's kind of weird too because Tim's voice becomes an instrument at some point. It's hard to explain, but it's like, I guess it's the way he's singing. It's so slow and methodical to a point where it just sounds like humming over lo-fi drums. But anyway, shouts out to Denny LaFleur. Excellent choice for a sample, my guy. We are now down to the top 3. Top 3 on the list. Clap it up. Clap it up. 3 on the list is High Hopes by Joji and Omar Apollo. This song was produced by Beckon and the Donuts. Now, I'm not too keen on Beckon's work, but this guy seems like the bee's knees of the music industry. I gave him a little search on Genius, as with the rest of these instrumentals on the list, and I don't know, this guy's pretty hot. He's worked with Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre, what else we got? ASAP Berg, Baby Keem, and Rich Brian, who was also on the 88 Rising label with Joji. In regards to this instrumental, it immediately caught my attention with how eerie it was and these very unique sounds. You have this lo-fi drum hit, this slow plucking of a guitar, another noise that sounds like a wind-up toy, and like I said, just other strange sounds that create this very slow, scary, melancholy kind of beat. I think this is one of my favorites because of how unique it sounds. Beckon manages to create a very cohesive instrumental by pulling these strange, unorthodox sounds together, and it almost reminds me of Monty Booker's production style, but besides the point, shouts out to Beckon. 2 on the list is 1993 by Oliver Tree. This song was produced by Wethen, correct me in the comments, Casey Matson and Oliver Tree himself. Now, if you made it this far into the video, you are well aware that I have zero knowledge of instruments. Flute, the recurring flute, I think it goes something like That being said, I can describe a feeling, and this song makes me feel like I'm traveling through through hyperspace. Remember that one scene in 2001, A Space Odyssey? Yeah, that's me, baby. Obscure movie reference aside, this song is loud, this song is angry, and it is in your face. I just would love to see how this translates in a concert setting, because this is the perfect song for a rave or being in a mosh pit. And it's hard to describe, but there's something very liberating about just clearing your mind and just jamming out to that bass line on the hook, man. Not to mention that trap style outro that it segues into. That segment in itself has so much
exaggerated swagger.
And with that being said, there really isn't a dull moment in this song. So shouts out to Oliver Tree, and just shouts out to everyone who contributed to this track here. Number 1 on the list is I Keep Calling by James Blake. This song was produced by Eric the Architect, Jamila Jamil, Josh Statlin, Cushy, Dominic Maker, and James Blake himself. I wouldn't be surprised if more people had a hand in this. This song felt like a whole ass experience, a journey, if you will. You have Blake incorporating his vocals into the structure of the beat, creating this very suspenseful and also pulsating kind of build up, and it soon transitions into this nightclub-esque bop. In a way, it's peaceful yet endearing whenever you hear James and his ad-libs on top of this, and then it just hits this moment in the track where it's just this beautiful climax where it's the amalgamation of all the instrumentation and the beat and his voice just coming together. I don't know how to explain it, but I think I broke it down better in my review. But just please listen to that project. It's his Before EP, which the song is off of. I'm just so impressed by how much James and his production style has progressed throughout the years. He's just so talented, and that's why I had to give him the number 1 spot. The song is fantastic. And with that, we have reached the conclusion of my favorite instrumentals, beats, best produced songs of 2020. Like I said, I'll figure out the title when we get there. Let me know in the comments, man. Any suggestions? Was this list trash? Was this list dope? Do you hate me because I didn't include Run the Jewels 4 and Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist? If so, I understand. Yeah, just let me know in the comments, man. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the other list videos that I'll be dropping this month. My name's Xavier, and this has been another episode of Wiggle Weekly. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.